There we go. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Angel, and welcome to Trading Buddies Tuesday edition. And of course, that means that it is crypto time. Well, not exactly now, but it's Crypto Tuesday, Crypto Day. And of course, as usual, we'll be joined by Shukri around about half past the hour. And in the meantime, let's take a look at what? The pound. So what we can do with the pound. Yesterday's trade is still in the market, as a matter of fact. We got TP1 fairly readily, but TP2 has thus far eluded us. And what's the level? 1.3784. Wow, did it elude us? Yep, about 8 pips short of that target. Now, obviously, I'm going to leave that in the market. Do I want to trade today is the question. Well, I think you can probably safely say that we're still in a range. Hi, Paul P. Is it a beautiful Tuesday? Great. But whether or not I want to trade this based on what I see here is a little bit dubious. Weekly pivot dead ahead, daily pivot dead ahead, either side of the range that we've been in today. Let me see if it's at all possible to get a first take profit on the long. I don't think it will be. 22 pips, so we need 11. We haven't got it before the weekly pivot has been broken and retested, which is not impossible. But the daily pivot hasn't been tested at all. All but, I must admit, but not at all. I don't like the short, and I'm not in love with the long either. Look, I suppose because it has been broken and retested, we can have a shot at it. It'd be nice if we got a close above it. That would be good. But we'll see how that pans out. I'm not going to trade the short, guys. There'll be no short today because I'm not going to trade into an untested daily pivot. Simple as that. So let me update the label. We don't need any of those numbers. And we'll wait for this candle to close before we make a determination on whether or not we're going to trade long. Whilst we're waiting for that, we can update a couple of things. What? Pound Kiwi, we're not in that yet. We're waiting on that. Euro Kiwi. Wow. Bit of a tough call here as to what to do, to be fair. It does look a bit toppy, I've got to say. Current candle, which closes in 2 hours from now. I think if that were to close below the daily pivot, and I said as much this morning, I would look to close this trade potentially in a small loss. Well, assuming it is a small loss. If it closes down here, it won't matter. I'm going to give it a chance, however, to go long. We'll see exactly what happens when London opens, whether we're in a bearish mood on Euro Kiwi or a bullish mood on Euro Kiwi. If you're not prepared to wait for that and want to get out now, probably I could understand that. That would be fine. I'm not going to. I'm going to wait and see what happens. You've got to expect that there will be a daily pivot test anyway. So that may happen, and then we explode. All things are possible, but it is looking a bit toppy, and if it does start to turn around, puts in a lower high. So if we got down to here, put in a lower high, I'd be looking to trade it short anyway. We'll see. Not making anything on that right now. I'll just hang in there. What else have we got? Two things today. Hang on a sec. We've only got 8 seconds to go. I'll go back to the pound. All right. Yeah, we'll trade long. We'll go long at 1.3755. This will be a new order, won't it? I'll put it in the market first. Buy stop 1.3755. again, if you are trading this, then it needs to be considered that it is not a proven system. 3-7, now I've forgotten, my God. Why do I talk? 3755, I think you'll find that it was. And the stop loss on that will be, look, I'm not 100% sure to be honest, but let's go with 1.3732. Okie dokie. So today's order we'll put up as a separate buy at 1.3755, stop loss 1.37, I think I said 32. I'll check it though. And TP1, based on those parameters, we've got what, 23 pips, so 11 pips would be our first take profit, and that means it'll be 1.3766 for TP1. TP2 will be double our risk, which in this case will be, what the risk was 23, that'll be 46. That would take us to 1.3801. That would be TP2. Okay. I'll put that over there as a separate order. And like I said, I'm not entertaining the sell. I don't think that's a very wise move. It looks to me like we are potentially going to spend a bit of time around this area, maybe up even to the monthly pivot, but I'm not seeing anything too far outside of that at the moment. And I think there's a lot of a lot of pairs in that situation where they're kind of pivot bound. That's not a bad thing as long as we know that there are highs and lows or areas that we feel we can find a bounce point, because we can trade that, guys. And I'll have a look at some of those throughout the day. Well, first up, let's go to two new possibilities that I noticed this morning, both Kiwi related. Seems I've got a thing with the Kiwi at the moment, I'm not sure why. And it looks to be a potential short to me. Weekly chart gave us a key reversal bar. What's a key reversal bar? Everyone should know that by now. I'm not going to answer the question. If you want to answer that question, by all means, put it in the chat box. What is a key reversal bar? And since then, really nothing. This was a bit dicey to take just as a key reversal bar, because you're trading straight into these lows, which is, almost a tweezer bottom, isn't it? That's why it would have been a bit tough to do that. But when I look at this chart, I see what pretty much amounts to a bear flag right now. So I'm pretty keen to see this go short. How do I get in is the question. And at the moment, I don't see that answer. I see potential, and the potential probably comes from, take your pick really, as to which high you're going to use. Won't be that one because we're cutting through these candles. You've probably got to go with that. You might even be able to join it to there. Nope. You might even want to swing up to there. Let's go with that for now. So best case scenario for me, I believe, would be if price came up to here, found that resistance area again, got back underneath the pivots, retested the area, then I could go short. There may also be an opportunity off that little line there as maybe a break and retest. same sort of thing. But I can also make an argument for the long, can't I? Where we've got a double bottom and we've got, well, we had a series, I guess, of higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, but then we got a lower low. And that's where the confusion now comes into play. I'm not convinced either way, but I do like the look of that. It's getting a little bit old now, I must say, but it does look like a bear flag to me. So my bias is still to the short side, but I just don't find an entry yet. I've got to really find something to trade it off, and at the moment the answer to that is no. Kiwi yen was another one I looked at this morning, and the daily chart shows very, very clearly a double top there, followed by a big sell-off, followed by a re-entry above the breakout level of that, well, what really wasn't a range at that point. Now it's rolled over and given us a retest of both the monthly pivot and the weekly pivot. Had that been a fuller bodied bar, I think it would have been tradable for me, and it's almost there. It really is. I'm tempted, but not compelled to trade that. I think a stop loss above there, an entry there, was something that I did consider. But yeah, I'm just a little bit on the not sure side. Again, if you have a look at the pivots are very compressed, and the market is very much in that area, and probably until this breaks, is going to stay in that area. So, I'm just not convinced that it's now time to go. Let's have a look at the euro dollar. Euro dollar is at a nice area for us in terms of we're at a trade line, which of course is where we trade. That's the 4-hour chart I'm looking at. So I've got to establish a bias of what I have on euro dollar before I look to trade it on a 30-minute chart. The bias, you'll recall, on the bigger picture comes from probably the daily chart. And the daily chart is pretty clear that we continue to bounce off the high and low of this channel. What's not clear right now is whether we're going to break it and come back into it, or whether we're just simply clearly going to bounce off it. Now you can see that we've gone into consolidation on the daily chart here, and that tends to suggest that the previous move will be followed by something. We'll probably try and crack that high, and that would probably force us above this level here. It's not unusual for that to happen. As you can see, we burst out here. Well, we didn't burst out. We bled out to the bottom here. We bled out to the top here. But on each occasion, we came back and went in the reverse direction. We got a beautiful lower high there. We bounced off here, didn't get to the high. Interesting. And then it smashed through. And then we got another false break that we were very interested in looking at a couple of weeks ago. And it has pretty much gone the distance. But we don't know what's happening yet. We don't know if we're going to get a bounce, and we don't know if we're going to get a false break. We don't know, indeed, if we're going to get a break and it goes long. But we're on notice here. That's what I'm trying to point out. Pay attention, because anything can happen here. And if we do get the signal that we've got a false break, then I'll definitely be looking to trade it short. And that's probably my bias on that at the moment, from a technical point of view. The other side of the coin, of course, is the dollar is once again in a questionable position. Is it going to rally off the retracement that we've had, or is it now going to reverse and go where it belongs? I don't know. What say you, Ash? How you doing, bud?
Oh yeah, not too bad, mate. I was just got my face in some level two here.
Oh, okay.
It's all right though. It's nothing nothing of massive interest. I mean, it's just a fascinating subject matter, really. So I like and it's one of those things that it's the only way you can learn it is by watching it. It's not something that somebody can kind of talk to you about, because it moves so fast. Level two, for anybody that doesn't understand, is the order flow for shares, and it moves so fast that you just kind of get used to specific things to focus on, because there's a lot of detail, when you're looking at a level 2 chart, of the level 2 chart data. And
Not for me.
Not for
Too
you?
fast
No.
for me. Too fast for old fellas.
Yeah, well, it is fast, mate, and it's a fascinating way to kind of look for short-term opportunities, and I really like it, but it's still taking me some practice, just to make sure that I don't mess it up. So yeah, I'm just continuing to watch it, and I was just learning a bit about it. So what were we just on, mate? Sorry, I was had my face.
That's okay. I can continue if you want to stay where you are. That's
no,
fine.
I'm only watching. I'm watching a company called Plus 500. What I think is quite interesting is that we have opened up. The UK is starting to open up again, not fully, but lockdown is, it's lifting up again, and it puts me really interested in the retailers. There's the likes of JD 500, JD Sport, which is it's been a really solid performer, and they continue to beat expectations on sales, and they've done some really good business over in the States and in this country. So I'd quite like to get into something like that, but of course the price isn't attractive at the current position. So there are other resellers that I think are quite interesting, and while I'm looking at them, that I thought, let's have a quick look at some level 2 data just to see what's on offer there. But in many respects, level 2 data isn't for investing, and that's what I'd quite like to do. I'd quite like to kind of like maybe get some shares in a retailer just for a period, because I think there's going to be an explosion. I mean, they are predicting that the opening of retail is going to be a significant event, because people have been all this pent up, not necessarily demand in buying things, because obviously people have been able to buy on Amazon, but more of a buying demand of that experience of being able to get out the house and just enjoy the shops. And I think it probably could have a bit of a purple patch
Yeah,
for a
good
period.
point.
And so I'm looking at retail, and the other one I'm quite interested in as well is some of these letting agents, the people that actually own the buildings, because many businesses either renege or can't think of the words.
Renegotiated the contract.
Renegotiated, yes.
Yeah.
Either renegotiated or reneged, or just all out left the retail. Some of the spaces, some of the leasehold places that they had, some of the office spaces they had. But maybe if things start to pick up again, and we still don't know if it's too early. There's still kind of talks of a potential second wave, but the UK is really on top of the vaccine. It's really pushing it out. Now, I don't know. Yeah, there's still questions obviously on the vaccine, obviously, because there are some issues with the AstraZeneca one. Obviously, the problem is that the media will focus on the extremes, and you read the extremes, then it kind of it sets a little bit of a few question marks in your mind. But ultimately,
yeah, me too. I'm nearing the age bracket where it's a danger for me. Danger. I don't know if that's even the right word. Where it's possible that I would be a sufferer of one of these blood clots.
Yeah.
Now, if I had the choice, I'd probably go with Pfizer, I've got to say.
Yes. Well, they're bringing Pfizer and Moderna into the country as well, and I don't think you get the choice, which is some of the issue, and they don't tell you before you arrive what vaccine is on offer for you. I don't know necessarily why Pfizer and Moderna would be any more. I'd be any more confident in those guys just yet either, because the AstraZeneca one has really proved that there is still some question marks over the vaccine in general, I think. And maybe the Moderna and Pfizer, those question marks haven't yet appeared. I don't know. And there's also the question mark of the headline aspect of the coronavirus itself, where people got incredibly worried. So they did go out and get vaccinated. Yes, there's a big number of people, but all we've been focusing on in this country really are the deaths from coronavirus, not the deaths from flu or anything like that. So there's a complete imbalance of the media, and it does mean that it does mean that you may well go out and get the vaccine more down to fear than because you actually feel like you need it. So anyway, that's a side thing. But I'm interested in some of those holders of some of those leases as well. But anyway, let's have a look at the charts that we can trade. I am holding the Aussie yen short. Oh, actually, it's not on this. I wonder why it's not on this account. It's on this account. I've got an a Kiwi yen short, and I've got an Aussie yen short. Kiwi yen shorts on this particular account, but the Aussie yen shorts on this account here. If I can bring it up here.
I like Kiwi yen short too now, but I can't find a way in for me just yet.
Yeah, it's a tricky one, mate. I mean, my Kiwi yen short, I'd already taken a bit of profit anyway because I like it as a longer term play, really. But my Kiwi yen short is at a decent point above where we are, so at least 30 pips above where we are. But I still think it's relevant and valid. It's a valid trade. So I've got the Kiwi yen short, but I've got the Aussie yen short on this particular one here. Hasn't really gone anywhere as yet, but the analysis that we did yesterday was all about the weekly. It was all about kind of looking at what happens, what might happen over the course of this week and the coming week. So I don't really mind holding on to this for a period. I think my stop's in a safe enough area. I will definitely feel a lot more comfortable if it continues to hold under this particular price point, because if it came up to the trend line, my stops aren't safe as yet. And it means that my stops aren't really going to be at their safer point until what's it now, Tuesday, until really the end of the week. So if we don't break through these highs by the end of the week, then I'll feel a lot more comfortable about holding on to this trade. So the Aussie's still a bit of a short for me. I have seen the markets come down. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about the FTSE, because the FTSE has had some. It's a good index at the minute. It's one of the better markets. And again, back to the UK opening up again, it would suggest that the FTSE would potentially have a bit of a purple patch. Good morning, Paul. So I quite like the FTSE as a long still, and I have got a number of positions just waiting to kind of get triggered with the FTSE that as yet, I'll show you it on here, as yet that they haven't triggered, because I'm going quite low. However, I am considering moving some of these ones up, quite like this area here, for a potential trade on the FTSE. Now, if we bring that back to, that was the previous low yesterday, and I probably could have done with getting in yesterday, but it is retracing now, so I'm okay waiting. But it is the question of, is it here, which is still 70 points away from where we are now. And it's going to be another one of those time correlations, just as we just saw with the Aussie yen. If it's not breaking through by Friday, I'll feel a lot more comfortable. If this was to come down in around about a week's time and nestle somewhere around here, I'd be a lot more comfortable with the long. But that's not to say that I won't get in. Let me just double check that that's the right level. Yeah, you see how this area has been rejected on the weekly. We're looking at that point there as a rejection point. And this looks like the next obvious. And the way that I will approach it is with no stop, but with no leverage. So I'll use no leverage right the way down, and just look at it as almost like trading it like it's an investment. So if because I had a FTSE trade, all the way from this point down here, right the way pretty much to the highs. I got around about 1,000 odd pips out of that one. And the idea really would be that if we can find the low at some point this year, and the FTSE goes up by, and I think the FTSE could go up by another 10, potentially 20%. If we're looking currently at around about the 7,000 mark, then that's going to lead us up to 7,700. And if we look at the monthly, really that puts us back up to this kind of area here. So around about a 10% gain on the FTSE, I think, is on, and it's one of those that you could say, why don't I go in at no leverage and make my 10% off this one trade for the year, if you like. and look at other things to trade on a short term. Even trading the FTSE on a short term would be valid. But why not look for something like that? So I'm looking to edge into the FTSE, but I'd like it a bit lower. So where it comes to where we are today, I think there's maybe too much in the way, mate, when it comes down to news and data. If we have a look at what we've got coming up, then we've got this 30-year bond auction, which has been, and that's not until 6 p.m. UK time. We got a 30-year bond auction. We got CPI data. So we got two aspects here in one day, which could affect the price of gold actually quite significantly. I don't know if Ainsley is going to be in this week, but if she is, this would be interesting to see how this has affected the price of gold. Will that CPI data start to look a bit more keen for gold? Will the 30-year bond auction start to look a bit more keen for gold? And then, of course, we've got Fed Chair Powell as well tomorrow. So there's a few things here that I think are possibly in the way. And we got ECB President Lagarde speaking as well. So they're possibly in the way of some of these trades really breaking out. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't be trying to get involved before, but it does mean that we need to be probably aware that either we are taking advantage of something and trying to make that trade safe before those announcements, or we are in and out. And at this stage, it looks kind of quiet. But the yen is the best for me, mate. If I'm honest, the yen's the one that I like the most. If I was going to trade any currency pair, any currency right now to the upside, it would be the yen. I think we've seen enough resistance against the yen. Is that against or in favor of the yen? I can't think which. But the dollar yen is hitting resistance here. I reckon you'd be interested in this if this closes below and then starts going up again in the next month, right?
Is that the monthly chart?
That's the monthly. Yeah.
Then I'd probably look at the weekly chart already. Probably already looking at the weekly. Yeah, it's not doing anything, is it?
No, it's not the best breakthrough, is it? Last week would have been better if it closed down here, right? Then you'd have been looking at this point, yeah, or below it. But the yen looks attractive to me, and it's really about picking the best currency against it, in my opinion. And as I said before, Aussie looks good for some downside. Kiwi looks good for some downside. So I'm sticking with those. I'm not sure at this stage whether I'll do anything until I see those numbers come out from the States. And when I do see those numbers come out, then I think gold becomes interesting. I'm funnily enough, I'm still not that keen on a gold long. I'd still like to see gold quite a bit lower. And this is a weekly chart here, and I wonder whether gold is kind of suffering here a little bit. We've got a horizontal level here. I wonder if it's suffering here a little bit about getting through some resistance. If we bring this to the daily, that's what we've seen with the daily. So I wonder whether gold does actually, travel quite a bit lower. Things look okay, in the gold and silver space, but price is being manipulated. So until the manipulation gets out of the way, which I think could, needs to come down quite a bit further, then I'm not really that interested. 90, what was it? Let me just make sure I get this this number correct here. Here we go. 90 tons have been bought by Hungary. 90 tons of gold have been bought by Hungary, and central banks are buying this stuff. That they are protecting their future. So gold still becomes really, really interesting. It's just about price. It's just about where can we get into this.
So who's selling it? If the central banks and that big wad has gone into the market, who's selling it to keep it down there?
Well, the central banks will be manipulating the price. I don't know how they're doing it, to be honest, but I guess it's possible that what they are doing, I mean, they're not selling, but they're manipulating the price. And I guess the way they're probably doing it is just by a bit of yield curve control. So people are thinking, oh, do I really want gold at this particular stage? The inflation isn't, quite the story it should be yet. The bond yields are rising. So not particularly good for gold. But I wonder if
are they still rising, or are they not?
No, actually they've stabilized. They have stabilized. They're still a bit elevated, but they have stabilized. But this is the thing, mate. I wonder at some point, if they've been buying up, at some point they're going to step back and go, okay, we're done with that, and all of a sudden, bang, it's going to go. I would have thought, to the upside. Really interesting, what's happened with the crypto space recently, where you can buy Bitcoin now and get yield. There was I can't remember the guy that came up with Bitcoin Cash, but he's been terribly burnt because I think he was the kind of the lord of Bitcoin. I think they called him the Bitcoin Jesus at one point. And he decided he didn't like Bitcoin anymore. But many years ago, he had stupid amounts of Bitcoin, and he decided he didn't like it anymore because he couldn't buy a cup of coffee with Bitcoin. So he decided to open Bitcoin Cash. And Bitcoin is 1,000 times higher than Bitcoin Cash. So he really made a mistake. From when they started, they were at the same price. When he launched it was the same price. And Bitcoin's gone, and his thing, no, not 1,000 points, sorry, 100 times higher than Bitcoin Cash. So he made a bit of a mistake, obviously, with that. And
Shucks.
Yeah, and now we're seeing what I think is really interesting about the crypto space is this staking thing. Where do you get 10%? I was talking to Lloyd the other day, and I've been talking to Lloyd about bonds and some of the yields that you get and that are promised on bonds are really interesting. And I was saying to him, when you get sort of offered 5 to 15% on a bond, effectively your money stays flat, but you get the yield. But you have to wonder, would bond traders bother with that if they can get 10% yield on a stable coin from a cryptocurrency? With the chance, again, of borrowing against it, the crypto space is changing financial markets so profoundly that, you wonder whether some of these older ways to do it, and I call them older, they're obviously not out of date just yet, but they may well become out of date pretty fast if they keep doing what they're doing, keep offering what they're offering. You can really make some significant gains out of doing crypto trading and staking the stuff rather than not the way Shukri does it, where he's making $1 million every 5 minutes. I'm kind of talking about I'm talking about just the average Joe who's just like, I don't know anything about this crypto stuff, but I don't need to. I'll just go and buy a stable coin, stake it over here, get 10%, and I've protected my wealth.
Well, I disagree.
Hello.
You need to know about that, and that's where
it's 20%.
Here.
It's 20%.
20%? You are kidding me? 20% in a stable coin?
Yes, USDC.
My goodness me. 20. I mean, Jeff, what about that? What are we bothering trading for?
Well, because I don't understand it, mate, and I haven't got time to understand it.
And this is the best thing. 20% is for noobs like you and Jeff and me, because I don't bother. I'm not a noob, but I just don't bother. If you stake it with, with it's like a bank, okay? It's like an intermediary. If you stake it with the originator of that coin, it's like 23%. And 1.8 billion has been staked. 1.8 billion.
And then you wonder, Chris Shukri, you look at it and you go, right, the price of Bitcoin, I was about to bring it up, the price of Bitcoin continues to rise. Yeah. And where you look at Bitcoin and go, well, it's at a top here, and indicators are suggesting that we are diverging and it's overbought. Yeah. And you're like, but then hold on a minute, why would you sell it? If you're gonna get, I mean, what do you get from Bitcoin? Like 5 to 7%? 5%. Why would you sell it? Why would you sell it?
That's the other problem. And this week, remember that Coinbase is coming for listing. 14th,
yes,
tomorrow.
Coinbase, yeah.
Is that today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Tomorrow night. So it's coming for listing. So it should pop, and then after that, I think it will take a rest because it's something that just happens, So yeah, you're right. Why would you buy it? So Tesla was very clever. They said that they would sell Tesla in Bitcoin, but Sui wouldn't sell her Bitcoin to buy a Tesla. That's like,
no.
Why in the world would you do that?
No, but you know what you would do? You would borrow money off your Bitcoin at 1% and go and buy your Tesla then, and then you still got your Bitcoin. And that's the problem, isn't it? That's the thing. Yes. How is anybody going to have any supply when people go, I don't even need to sell it. Not only do I get staking, I get 1% loans from this thing.
But remember what Jeff said, because he's an old hand. Eventually, when everyone comes in, the rates will have to go down. It's not sustainable. It's only sustainable because the early guys got in first. That's all.
Yeah.
And if you get in first, then you kind of have a 1 to 1.5 year run where you can enjoy all this. But eventually, if it does flip to crypto, it's going to be equal again. It has to come down. And let me show you something about, Coinbase is going for listing, right? Let me show you what Coinbase is all about, because there's something interesting behind this Coinbase thing. This is more interesting. This is going to blow your mind. Okay, look at this. So Coinbase is going for listing tomorrow. That's cool. I will talk more about Coinbase because it is really priced for perfection. It is risky. This is the Motley Fool, by the way. I agree it is risky. They priced it for perfection for the listing, 100 billion. I think this is, of course, manipulated. That's why the Bitcoin price and Ethereum price could be manipulated to time it for this listing. Right, because it's a small market. It can be manipulated. But what's really going to change the world is this soon, and it could happen like next month or 2 months from now. Now, Fad asked a very important question yesterday. What if I want to buy Coinbase, which is coin? Okay, that's on a stock exchange. So you have to have a a broker that has stocks, right? US stocks and all that. In Malaysia, I think you can do it through Maybank. I have Saxo in Singapore. I think eToro should be able to do it. And I'm sure some other exchange going to do it. But look at this. Hello, crypto. How are you doing? Binance now is offering tokenized stock tokens starting with Tesla. Yeah, it is. It's amazing, right? Look at Binance. Zero commission. It's become Robin the Hood.
Oh my God. So hold on a second. Now, hold on. They are tokenizing shares in Tesla.
Yes.
Are you able to stake those tokens to get yield?
Let me. I don't think so, but let me tell you something. This is going to be very weird. So follow me closely here, because even Paul saying that. Okay, we had to go through this too many times with Paul. Okay, but this is so weird. Okay, here it is. You can stake your Ethereum here. Okay. Yeah. And with the Ethereum, and this is going to be staked in ETH 2.0. You get 6 to 8% per annum, which is good. Now get this. You can have some, and then you get something called BETH. BETH is essentially the same value as this. You can convert your BETH to whatever, and then you can do this to buy the Tesla thing. So you still get your yield here. You convert to BETH to whatever this thing is. I think is in BUSD, and then you can buy Tesla with your BUSD. So where did my capital go? My capital is locked up here, and now I'm playing around with Tesla with this synthetic thing.
Yeah,
I have not seen this before.
Even though you've changed your Ethereum, you're still getting rewards in Ethereum.
Yes, and you can use that rewards to trade Tesla. And
I see. So you can only use the rewards to trade Tesla.
Yeah, you can use for anything else inside the Binance ecosystem. You can't.
So if you were to use, if you were to buy, let's say you bought, we're talking about just one share in Tesla. Let's say you bought $600 worth of Ethereum, $700 worth of Ethereum. Yeah. And you change that $700 to BETH to buy Tesla. In that instance, you don't get any rewards because you've converted the whole thing. So what you're looking to do is buy
Ethereum. You can buy Ethereum again.
but you'd be looking to buy 1,200. Sorry,
Origin.
12.
Okay, let's go Origin.
So but if you bought $12,000 worth of Ethereum, because you'd get 600 in staking because you get 5%, then you could use that to buy one share of Tesla.
No, okay.
I see.
No. Here it is. Here you get 12,000 here, right?
Yeah.
You will get around 12,000 worth of BETH also. You can stake this to get you can convert this to USDC and get another 6 to 8 here. Or you can even use this 12,000, convert it to BUSD, and buy Tesla or whatever crypto you want in the Binance ecosystem.
But you won't get you don't get the staking from Ethereum anymore if you do that.
No, you do. You see? I told you we had to go many times through this, right? You still
get paid. Okay.
Yes, you still get paid. This stays. That's why I say this is insane. I don't know the
Goodness
dynamics
me.
because we'll have to see how this works. Okay, the calculations and all that. Now look, here's the share. This is Tesla BUSD. This is a share. I'm sure they will have Coinbase here too. So within the Binance ecosystem, guess what, Ed? Because you're a stock trader, I think you're going to open an account in Binance soon if you haven't. So because
I've got a Binance account.
Okay, good. So look here, you can use your crypto and stake it because you know the staking is good, and you know that eventually that Ethereum has maybe the target is high, right? You can stake it and earn that money on Ethereum, and then you can take out another Ethereum without adding any capital, and then you can even go buy this and other cryptos, and you can even stake again if you don't want to, because a lot of people like Jeff, because conservative, don't, within a certain age, don't go and YOLO with that thing. Go stake again. You can stake BUSD.
Do you know where this is really interesting? Is that Tesla don't pay a yield. So all of a sudden, you're managing to buy a stock in Tesla. You're managing to buy some stock in Tesla, which has obviously gone haywire in price, and you're going to still get your yield from Ethereum. So
it's like your yield. Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like what's going on here?
It's very convoluted. I have to say that the way that you buy it is very convoluted.
You think?
It's very convoluted, and there's really no case study or no thing. So I will just see this within the first 2 months, because you don't want to be the first one to go in. You want to see who made money and who got burned with this new thing, because you really don't know what's going to happen.
Yes. That's really interesting. Okay. So the USDT is the one that pays you 20%.
No, it's something called Luna USD. I don't know what it is. It's called Luna, but it's something by Mark Novogratz. It's a Korean company. So Mark Novogratz was asked, he's a big Bitcoin guy, and he was asked, which one would you go to? Which is the best altcoin? He said Luna. And that time was like 40 cents. Now it's like $12. Now it's only like $14.
But hold on. So Luna's not a stable coin though.
No. But Luna came out with that stable coin.
Oh, they've got a stable coin, have they?
Yes, they have. Yeah, it's called Luna here. Yeah, this one, Terra Luna, this one.
So Terra Luna, it's a stable coin, so it tracks the US dollar, and you get 20% staking.
Yes.
From Binance?
No, from you get 23% from Luna, but sometimes getting this wallet thing is so difficult. Just as getting this wallet thing, sometimes you just feel you just want to throw the computer on the ground, and then you have all this silly gas fees and all that. So
well, this is the thing, mate. I mean, I've got an account with Celsius for some of this.
That's good. That's very good staking.
I really like them.
So to avoid all this, you go to a place like Celsius, and they will have that staking there. I don't think Celsius has it, but some other places have it. So you get, instead of 23, you get 20, which is good. I can live without that 3%.
I think I could. I mean, this is the thing, isn't it? And it's interesting where the banks are going to go. I mean, you kind of look at this stuff and go, how can the banks have any savings inside them anymore? Because
here's the deal. They have to hire people like Sui. Chief DeFi officer. Is there a choice? They can't survive. You're right.
Yeah. It's that particular arm of the banking sector can't survive anyway. I mean, the investment banks will probably do okay out of it.
The investment banks are already in this. I think JP Morgan and all that. Right? The investment banks are moving very fast, but the retail will have to definitely move there, because you can't challenge it, because there's too many people looking for yield now, and now they know already this place. They will all go there, but then of course it will bring yields down, because they will simplify things. So one of the simplification things is like Moonbeam. So I'm an ambassador, so we had a talk with Moonbeam. They're simplifying this. They're simplifying things. Is this good? Depends on who you are. If you are the man on the street, where in Malaysia you get like 1 or 2%, I don't even know whether it's over 3 yield, man, you're celebrating. For us, we're getting like silly gains. We're like, man, don't do that. Because when everyone comes in, it just brings down the grade point average.
Yes.
Can't run away.
Yes.
But that will happen. That will happen.
So I've got one more question, Shukri, unless you got something, Jeff. I can see you there, full of bubbling with questions over there.
I'm watching the currency charts at the moment,
mate. The thing is, Jeff, that will outlive all of it, won't it? That's the bottom line.
Oh, look, that I can't answer. I really can't answer that one.
Yeah,
that's a great question.
So, okay, here's my question. Right, so we're seeing this with Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's just going to open a flood for many other things. Where I think this gets interesting, and you know, see if you can sort of like figure this one out. People in this country are obsessed with property. And, you know, property is just something that everybody gets in. And, you know, the kind of old adage is you can't go wrong with property. It never goes down in price. And on the whole, it doesn't. Some areas do, but on the whole, it doesn't. But you have to get a buy-to-let mortgage.
Yeah, hang on a second. Hang on just 1 second.
Yeah.
Now, if you're probably, I don't know, 50, maybe 55 years old plus, you would have seen property go down maybe twice in your life, maybe 3 times in your life. But there'll be people who have never ever witnessed property go down.
Right.
And that is a very dangerous thing because it can go down. There'll be people in Ireland, for instance, who will tell you when the global financial crisis hit that they lost their entire wealth.
Yeah.
So it can happen. Don't worry about that.
No, I get that, mate. But if we think about what happens in markets, isn't that true of everything? I mean, you know, where is Ireland's property prices now today? And they are definitely above where they were pre-financial crisis. So everything bounces back, like cryptos have bounced, you know, they tank and then they bounce back and then they exceed where they were before. The NASDAQ, gold, silver, you know, all these things kind of, yes, they go down in value, but as an industry and as a sector, that's why people say they're relatively safe, because over a long period of time, and you know, you buy property for 25 years on the whole, plus. So over a long period of time, unless you've bought at the highs, you're relatively safe with property.
Some people do buy at the highs.
Yes, I know they do, mate. I know. I've got a friend who's done that a few times.
I did first 2 houses I bought right on the high, and then the interest rate went to 18%.
I mean, I laugh, but it is cruel. But did you
3 months? 3 months after I bought it, right?
Did you recoup?
Of course, eventually, yes.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's
and then you use it as collateral to go.
Okay, so here you go, mate. Here we go. So you're the perfect example. You paid 18%. Now, if you borrowed that from a crypto space, you could have borrowed that at 1%. But the problem right now is that you need, you know, to borrow 200,000, you would need $800,000. $800,000 to borrow the 200,000. So then you're not in the space to kind of do it. And my question to you, Shukri, is there a way that they will eventually be able to do these loans where, you're...
It's being worked on now. That, you know, in 2017, there were a lot of projects trying to tokenize property. I was in one. I got wrecked because it was too new. Yeah. I just heard in CNBC a couple of days ago, it's come back. Okay. I don't know whether it's going to be successful, but they said that they're going on this. This is the second wave. But again, when they asked with the man on the street for property, I don't know the psychology. They still do not want to buy with Bitcoin. It's not about fearing Bitcoin going up. It just is not right. But I don't know how the crypto guys is going to do it. But I do feel it will come. And I do feel in the crypto space now, get this, Ash. We know about collateralization and all that. But crypto space, I think there are going to be a lot of companies coming out middle of this year under collateralized loans. So we are back to the 2008 crisis again. You do not have to have that much collateral. It's in a smart contract. I don't know how it works. But when I see something like this, I want to get in early and then I'm out.
Yeah, I get you, mate.
That's all it is.
It is a danger, isn't it? That we're sort of like, you know, we're getting into this point where, as you quite rightly say, eventually the shine of Bitcoin, sorry, the shine of the crypto space will come off, because then people do, then mass goes forward, and there's a stampede, and inevitably there's a rebalancing. And I suppose then people go back to the banks, and the banks go, "Hey, you should have stayed with us all the time." And Jeff's making.
But once again, whenever you hear about these new things like under collateralized, I want to go in first.
Yes.
And then I'm out.
Of course.
Yeah. Because another thing that people were trying to do, and all the projects fail except one. One will stand up. Is this so-called, all the stable coins. There are something too where the stable coin adjusts to inflation and all that. It's done automatically through a smart contract. Everyone who went there got wrecked, including the latest one, which is Faye. Well, they didn't get wrecked. They just fell by 20%. I don't know why it doesn't work. So, but in the beginning, it has all this hype, blah, 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 blah. But I kind of to be there and sell into the hype, like, okay, guys, see you later. I'll check on you 3 months from now and see whether you made the money or not.
Yeah, I mean, would you say, Shukri, that really, the term stable coin is actually a misnomer? It's stable for right now.
It is a misnomer because it is not really decentralized. It has to be backed by something.
Yeah.
Okay, like USDT is supposedly backed by the Tether Corporation, Bitfinex, and all that. USDC, which is good, is actually backed by Circle and Coinbase, which is getting listing on Wednesday. So I'm really confident in USDC. Now, there are other ones which go by contract and balance this and balance that. I don't know whatever they balance, but I know only one has been successful, which is Ample. The rest have been,
all that stuff going on. I mean, I don't know if you got sort of anything else you wanted to kind of get to, which is cool. If you do, mate. XRP, what is going on with that?
XRP is a classic case of a short squeeze because they supposedly are. I think they're going to drag this thing. They're going to drag this thing with the U.S. Securities Commission. So they must have a very good case there somewhere, because at the end of the day, I don't think this is going to be shut down. This case has happened before. Wow, look at that. It happened before with a cryptocurrency called EOS. EOS. They were slapped down with a fine. It was a small fine compared to what they were actually already making. So I think people are betting that now it'll just be a slap in the face. They will pay it. They will try to delay it, and then they will pay it, and then that's it.
Right.
But it doesn't take from the fact that it's probably. I don't know what they will do. The SEC will probably have a condition where they need to do things. For EOS, they needed to have their own blockchain. Before this, they were using Ethereum. So what they were doing was considered centralized, not decentralized. So they had to have their own blockchain, which they had, and it really sucked compared to the infamous Ethereum. It really sucks. Using that wallet is like, I have to go to the manual if I want to use that.
Right.
I mean, there's there's so many steps, but that solved the problem.
Yeah.
And EOS is back from the crash that was caused as usual.
Yeah.
Shukri, I don't know if you can see the questions coming through on YouTube. Can you see the questions on YouTube?
No, I can't. Okay. Let's see. Yeah. What are YouTube questions?
From JC. G'day, JC. How you doing? I use my Bitcoin as a stable coin now. Crystal, question mark. Why not use Beth to buy Ethereum and stake for Beth and use Beth and buy Ethereum ad infinitum?
Same. That is what the first generation DeFi guys did. They staked, they got the thing out again, right? It's the same thing. They staked Ethereum, and then they got B Ethereum out, and then they staked again. Yeah, they did that. But not only did they get another Beth, they got Seth, CETH, so they got another reward. And that's why that first generation of stakers, that's when it became degen stakers, because they made a lot of money from that. They were just going, they were just doing the same thing. They were just putting it in an infinite loop. But remember, Crystal, that loop broke. It broke, okay? So just remember that. And you got to remember that when you see extraordinary gains, I feel, although many people don't share the same sentiment, that you just got to bring a lot of it out into USDT or whatever currency and find something safer.
Who's Hosea? Who's Hosea?
Who's that? Ooh, let me see.
Okay.
YouTube.
Well, I think it was God in some Christian belief. But JC saying everybody needs a Hosea. He eats setting up wallets. Crystal says, I need a Hosea.
Yeah. Okay. He's one of he's one of our Saturn members. Yeah, he's the wallet man. He's the wallet man. Yeah, you're right. The skill in wallets is going to be important, and why I say now, I say this with mixed feelings, right? And I think the guys in crypto know now that this is the time to make the yield. The harder the wallet, the better. By the time everything is easy and everyone can go, guess what? The yields are not there anymore. Won't be there.
What do you mean, Shukri, by that? The harder the wallet, the better.
Because the harder the wallet, that means it's harder to get in at this early stage. Now, there's,
I see. The harder the process to get the wallet, the better the wallet is. Yeah.
I mean, we listen to all Ethereum, blah blah blah, Bitcoin. What else do we have? Neo and all this. And I know you guys are struggling with all this MetaMask. That's easy, guys. That's kindergarten. Sorry to tell you this. There is even other ecosystems like Arweave. Like Arweave has made a lot of money for me. I've been told by someone, I won't tell you who said that you go into Arweave, into the wallets. There's even an exchange from Arweave. It's easy to make a 10x there. But even I do not have time to go in and experiment. It's called Verto. It's like, okay, you buy this is going to be a 10x. Okay. But it's hard.
I just shake my head.
I know. And guess what? When Verto becomes popular such that Crystal and Angel can use it, guess what? It's already gone 100x.
Yeah.
Only 100.
Only 100. That's just how the way the crypto world works. When everyone comes in, boom, it's already gone up.
Yeah.
And now it's harder to go further, That's all it is.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ash, awesome question for you when Shukri's done, from David on YouTube. I don't know if you can see them.
No, I can't.
Skill in remembering passwords. Been long in XRP for a week now. Will NYC bounce back?
What's NYC?
I have no idea.
Is New York
something?
Is that crypto or is that a stock?
Crystal, what's NYC?
Yeah, what's NYC?
New York City? Is it not? No.
It used to be.
Is it this way? Let's find here. Maybe it is a crypto. Maybe it is a crypto. Cryptos are weird. Maybe there is NYC. Oh yeah, I don't know. But New York coin, I don't know Bunny coin, but I think Bunny coin has a lot of potential. Harmony coin. Oh, I don't know. I really don't know all this.
Crystal's not giving me an answer, so I can't go any further with that.
But look at this. Okay, look at this. This is another. Okay, Coinbase is coming at 100 billion. Binance is 84 billion on the crypto space. So they're almost the same. Here's the deal. You can look at it at two ways. You can look at it that Coinbase has 5 times less volume than Binance, and it's at 100 billion, which means that Binance is severely undervalued. Or you can say that, hey, Binance is at 84 billion and Coinbase is at 100 billion, or Coinbase is severely overvalued, which is what this article really says. So guys, be careful if you want to ape into Coinbase. I feel that it is overpriced. I am going into this, but not in the beginning. So you guys, I was telling in the group just now on this, right? There was something, the aliens that say, I'm out, guys. I'm out within the first few minutes. Right? That's what I do. I just sell off to all the people who like speculation. And then I wait if I want to go back in. But this is 100 billion is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, even for this, 77 times. I don't know. How do you do that?
Yeah, all the punters will pile into it because the press are talking about it, right?
Yes.
What's their revenue though, Shukri?
Their revenue went up by 6 times. Yeah, it went up by 6 times. It's incredible. This incredible growth. You just don't believe it.
And how much does it cost them to provide the Binance service? Is it relatively cheap?
Okay, this is the thing. They're still charging commission. Binance does not. Binance is the Robin Hood to Coinbase, which is kind of weird.
I see.
Binance was supposed to be the weird guy, but Binance is not charging commission on stocks. Binance has something called pancake swap here, in which the thing is low, in which the fees are low versus Ethereum. That's why I say that the threat to Ethereum to me is Binance, and that's why in my show yesterday I said the Asians were coming. It's led by Binance. It really is. But here's the irony: Binance is also not decentralized. It's kind of like centralized. So which is good, which is bad? We don't know.
Okay, so Shukri, if you are younger than 64 and you want to learn about all this SH1T, I say that with hand on heart, very endearing. I love what you're doing, of course. If you want to learn that from you, you just join you, right? Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
8 o'clock.
And we have classes, but the next one we only have in July. Many have asked about the classes, guys. I cannot go back. Malay say go stand. We've already forward. I cannot reverse. It will break the gear.
Well,
here's what I would do.
Constantly moving industry, isn't it, as well, Shukri?
It is.
Sort of like looking at the next new thing.
It is. And I think this is where the younger guys are better now. Now, some guys that are joining Saturn, which is more advanced, is good like that. I'm going to give you an example. I made money in Flow, right? In Flow, a lot of money. It's now worth 400,000. That made me dumb. My IQ totally went down. I don't know what wallet is for that. I don't know what high yield staking is that. But the guy that's joining us knows that. So you understand? Me at 64 years old, I only handle 64-year-old stuff. The younger guys, they know more. They're making more on Flow than me. They even know that Flow can go on mobile wallet. I didn't know that. When people were asking, I said, go to Hobie. Don't ask me that. Don't embarrass me in public, guys. But now I know.
Yeah.
I have to ban all these questions. But now I know, right? Hey.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be the way, isn't it, Shukri? Because you've got a specific amount of time, and other people have got a specific amount of time, and obviously you've been doing your research in an area which you'll always go to.
And listen to this. He's making money on Flow. He's staking on Flow, and because he's young and he's stake at the right place. This is sick. Sorry, guys, this is too late. Sorry, I didn't know this. I'm 64. Okay, this guy is even going to get an airdrop. Because the service that he's staking with is going to probably get an airdrop. They announced it already yesterday. So guys, you guys that are younger actually can do more. I point you here. Just if you're younger than 60, if you're 54, go a little bit higher. If you're 24, go deeper.
Yeah.
You'll find something. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then don't forget to tell me back, please.
All right, mate. Thank you so much as usual.
Sure.
Yes.
Really appreciate it. And guys, don't forget, if you want to learn about it, you've got to spend some time with Shukri, because I've got to spend some time with Shukri if I want to know about it. Unfortunately, he's short of time. I'm short of time. We just don't get there. But make some time to learn it. That's what I would say.
Thanks. Cool. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers,
Thanks,
buddy.
Shukri. See you soon, man.
Now, Ash, got a question for you on YouTube, and you're the best to answer this because it deals with fundamentals. And David was in yesterday, and good to have him on board, of course, asking questions. And I'm completely underqualified to answer anything that's got to do with fundamentals, David, really, as I said to you yesterday. But with the fundamentals, you're also... sorry, pardon me, I'll go back to the first question. How do I build a fundamental case for a Forex pair? There's a broad question for you, Ash.
Okay. All right. So let's go. I was going to say, let's do a little outline, a little scratch up. I mean, it's there's obviously much deeper. Just like with any of this stuff, there's much deeper that you can go with it. But let's build a general kind of picture of what you might want to look for. So you've got to consider that. So if you really, what we're talking about with Forex pairs, what we're talking about is countries' economies. Okay, so you would, if you're looking at a pair, you'd really want, one pair one side, one pair the other side. Now, there's the fundamental drivers that you want to look for. Let's say we're looking at the Aussie yen, for example, because that's the one I'm short on, and it's down to do with the fundamentals. So one of the fundamental aspects really is to do with the COT data. Now, we did do some COT data stuff yesterday, but and if you watch the show regularly, you'll see more COT data stuff. But what we really want now, the fundamentals really, what I usually talk about, the fundamentals are the economic metrics. And it's no different to a company. If you're looking at a country, you have to think, what drives the country's economy? And it's things like obviously the workers. So if workers drive an economy, then what you should be then looking at, so I don't need that there. What you should be looking at if you've got workers are unemployment numbers and employment numbers. Okay. Now, as I say, this is a kind of shallow dive into it, if you like. But just to give you a little bit of a hint here, if you're looking at unemployment numbers and employment numbers, the way that you can get ahead, if you like, of the release of unemployment and employment is think about a leading indicator. So what we want to try and do is if we are looking for longer term positions, we want to try and get leading indicators. So you have to think, what's going to give you an idea of where the unemployment picture is before the unemployment number is printed? And it's then you look at things like job advertisements, job adverts. Now, all this stuff is readily available on the internet. So job adverts, and then you obviously, when it comes down to the workers, then you need to know about companies. So you need to know about the companies within the country, and what those companies tend to do. Now, when you're looking at companies, you want things like export data. Obviously imports as well. You're looking at pricing points. We'll come to those in a minute. Export data and import data. With the companies, you need to be looking at business confidence. Because if businesses are confident, what are they going to do to the employment picture? Well, they should be going out and employing people. Now, the reason that employment's important is that it all comes down to the central bank. So the central bank, really, that should be right at the top here. The central bank is kind of like where we're looking to build our case for whether we think interest rates are going to go up or interest rates are going to go down. Now, if you're looking at an hourly chart, then you're not going to get any kind of picture of this. You're looking 18 months into the future. So when people are sort of like taking trading decisions, when the big players are taking trading decisions, they're trading it off what they think is going to happen in the future. They're trying to get into positions and hold on to them. So when the picture unfolds, they want to make sure that they're right. So what they're trying to always get in front of is whether a central bank, first and foremost, there's different reasons that people buy currencies, but one of the reasons is that there's something called the carry trade. So if you've got a country that is providing 2.5% in interest rates and another country that is providing 0% interest rates, then it makes much more sense to go and exchange your one from zero to the zero currency and buy the one that's offering 2.5%, driving that particular price higher. Now, obviously, it gets to the point where that equals out. So what you're looking for then is what's the next move, which is going to be the next to move. Does country 2 that was offering 2.5% come down towards zero, or does the one that's offering 0 go up towards the 2.5? So you're looking at trying to ascertain which is likely to move first on interest rates and get the squeeze on the interest rates. And this is where we get the picture of what's going to happen. If your country is employing well, then one of the central bank's mandates is full employment. So when the reason that they might start to raise interest rates is that if employment is starting to peak. Now, obviously, sort of like with employment, you also want to know the wage inflation, if you like, wage growth, because what will happen is, if much of the country's workforce are employed, then it means that there will be a lack of supply, which means that to get the demand within your company, you're going to have to increase wages. And it's this kind of correlation that you're looking for, because when that kind of thing happens, when that inflation happens, the central banks will control the inflation, and this is where we get to inflation numbers. Control inflation by raising interest rates, and you're looking at CPI, PPI. PMIs, Purchasing Managers Index. Again, this is an important one. CPI is down to the consumer, and the Purchasing Managers Index is down to the people within the companies and the businesses. So these numbers are going to start giving you an overview. CPI is a really important number. We got CPIs out later. And this is what's happened to the consumer. Are the consumers paying higher prices at the cash points, at the tills? And again, if they are, then this is where we might start to see interest rates, question of whether they're going to have to rise, because the first mandate is for a central bank is full employment. The second mandate is price control. It might not be in number 1 and 2, but they're the two main mandates. Is steady and gradual price price points, effectively, to control the prices so they don't get out of whack. If prices start to go too high, the way that they can control those prices is to diminish the supply of money, if you like. So and raise the interest rate, so people are getting more in their accounts, so they can effectively afford the goods as they kind of go up in value. So that's going to give you a general overview. Now, there's a much deeper dive that you can go into it, but that's a really good starting point. So if you look at these numbers, unemployment, wage growth, employment numbers, job adverts, look at the business confidence, the business sentiment, look at the CPIs, the PPIs and PMIs, then you can start to get an overview and a feel of where countries are kind of going and where they are at in their fundamental point in the year. And if you're starting to see PMIs going higher, then you can start thinking, okay, well, the central banks they're going to see this number as well. Is this a number that's likely to push the interest rate up in 18 months? And if it is, then that's the point to start thinking about buying that particular currency, or certainly putting it on a watch list anyway. So there's a quick overview, mate. Fundamentals in 7 minutes. There we go. I'll just clean up my screen so I haven't got it for next time. No problem, David. Yeah, I mean, usually, so it doesn't have to be the minimum you should be looking for the fundamental picture is 3 months, because that's a quarter. And things happen per quarter. You'll have the Christmas period, for example, the final quarter of the year, good for retail. You'll have the summer quarter, good for or the maybe sort of like different points of winter that will be good for energy. So different things react at different times, and it means the fundamental picture will change per currency at different times of the year, because some currencies are commodity based, like the Aussie and the CAD. So if you're commodity based and people are using more oil in that particular quarter, the Canadian dollar is likely to do better off the back of that. So the minimum you should be looking for is a 3-month prediction into the future. What's going to happen in the next 3 months? If you look what's going to happen today, then you're much better off just looking at technicals and trading on the technical picture, because the fundamentals won't, you might get a news pop, but ultimately the fundamentals won't make any difference. Now, of course, news plays a part in your fundamental analysis, because if you know that the European Union is very slow in administering vaccines, and you look at what happens to countries when vaccines are administered, like the UK, when the vaccine's been administered, the COVID rating has just dropped off a cliff, which means the economy can move again. So those face-to-face businesses can start to interact and start to move and start to open up again. If the European Union hasn't done that, those face-to-face businesses are still in trouble. Now, how can they? Which means that again, we're back to employment. That's down to the employment picture, and everything needs to be ticked. Really, every business drives another. So if you're getting one chink in the food chain, then that would suggest the employment numbers would not be sufficient for central banks in the European Union to be thinking about raising interest rates in the next 18 months, which is why really anybody that's bullish the euro, I'd be a bit kind of questionable. I'd be quite perplexed if somebody told me that they were bullish the euro on the fundamental data, because I just don't. Even the data can be good, but we know that there's this big sort of elephant in the room that that makes you kind of wonder how the data can be that good for that long in comparison to another currency. Anyway, mate, that's it in 10 minutes.
Awesome, buddy. I was talking to you about 3 minutes ago and just realised that my microphone was closed. So and David, I apologise for not answering you as well, but Ash has done a stellar job there, I'm sure. Is currency fundamentals harder than... have you read that question, Ash?
I'm just reading it now. Is currency fundamentals harder than indices? I feel like being from the UK, it's easier to build fundamental case for, say, only the FTSE 250 than it is for all the currencies engage its strength. I'm in the UK. I'm obviously in the UK, David. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. So the reason that you'll find, I think that you'll find that the fundamental case easier for the FTSE 250 is because we're in the country. The news is so much more readily available. But when it comes down to looking for news for New Zealand, for example, more digging has to be done. We don't have the 6 o'clock news that might tell us something about what's driving the economy. So you got to do more digging. So it's for that, and in that respect, I find it easy. I mean, I'm a an advocate of stock trading. I love trading stocks, but I focus on UK stocks. I don't really trade US stocks, and that would be the second best for me for finding information, because it's quite readily available. But I like UK stocks because I find it easy to search around. But I do think it's a bit more in depth looking at UK stocks. I think when you're looking at currencies, as long as you focus on the main drivers, then, which is probably only, you probably need 10 that you really focus on, then you're not so concerned. If you're looking at the FTSE 250, you are kind of looking at sector first, so you need to know that particular sector is doing well. Then you go down to the company, looking at revenue, you're looking at operating profit, you're looking at the EBIT, cash flows, debt, and that's, with currencies and countries, the debt aspect is important, and the trade balances are important, but they're not quite as, I don't think it's quite as a rabbit hole. Those things are quite easy to find. So I would suggest that currencies probably are easier. I think they're a bit easier to know, to be able to read the fundamentals, but to find them, they're a little bit harder if you're not in that particular country that you're talking about. That's my opinion.
I did it again. I had to shut the dog up.
That's all right, mate.
There's obviously something outside that I need to go and investigate, so I better push off. I'm going to leave you with a couple of things. And David, thank you very much for your input and your questions. Really enjoyed that. Yeah. That's a good thing. I'll pinch. Are you done, mate, with your screen?
Yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay. Dollar Sing has just come under my radar notice. And the reason is we are at the bottom of a range. We've come off the bottom of a range. We're putting in a sequence of higher highs and higher lows. We've now got an equal high here, but I've got a clearance of the pivots, all the pivots, monthly, daily, and weekly have all been smashed. Current bars coming back to retest those. If this candle closes pretty much as it is now, or even down below the pivots, that's fine. But it's got to be bearish, has to be bearish in body. And if that's the case, I would place a long above that level and put my stop loss below the candle, wherever it may close. If it doesn't close below the pivots, mind you, and it's got 45 minutes to go, you'll probably want to sneak your stop loss maybe below this bar here. That might be a bad idea anyway. Stop loss below that bar, entry above that bar, or you might even want to put it above that bar just to get clear of that high. Okay, but this is a genuine potential setup for a long here. on US dollar Sing on the 4-hour chart. Have a good look at that. A couple of other things that I need to make you aware of. Kiwi yen, whilst I was in a bearish frame of mind earlier, that's kind of still the case, but I can't see a way in here just now. I want to see it come back up to here, I think. So back up to here, get above the pivots, come back underneath them and retest the confluence area. Then I can go short. Kiwi CAD. Wow. Kiwi's having a good old shot at clearing that range. Interesting. Very interesting. This really does still look like a bear flag to me. So if we do get what I suggested may be the case before, so exactly the same as I've just described, a break above here, put in a lower high, maybe match that level there, which is 88.55. So if we got above here, found resistance back underneath, probably want to get underneath the weekly pivot and then retest that confluence area. I think that's a short on offer as well. Dollar CAD, no. Euro Aussie, we're still in Euro Aussie. We're free trading Euro Aussie, not so Euro Swissy. Not so Euro Kiwi, rather. Euro Kiwi up here. Like I said before, I'm willing to close this if the current bar closes below the daily pivot, and in particular the trend line. I'm willing to take a small loss on this. It's looking a bit toppy now, I've got to say. It really is. And it's been in this range. I think it's probably headed to the bottom of the range. I know we're protected by the weekly pivot here, but I think we're headed south if we get a close below the daily pivot. I may even look to trade that as a false break and a false break of this area here. So if we got to close below the daily pivot, then a retest, then I think there's a short on offer there. But I will close this if I get a close below the daily pivot. As I say, in a small losing position. Pound Kiwi, we're still in that. Looking to get back into, or looking to have an add in there. This may provide it. I'd like to see a retest of the weekly pivot. If I did, without coming below the pivots, there's probably a trade above that bar as well. So enter long there, stop loss underneath the pivots. You've got an untested daily pivot, which is interesting. But I am keen to get back into this. Maybe on a daily chart tomorrow. Maybe. I don't see any. No, I don't see a way in there. Sorry. Won't be. So keep an eye on the 4-hour. And if you get that nice retest, I think there's probably a case for it. And that is about it, I think. Oh, the pound. Now, we missed TP1 by what? 0.4 of 1 pip. Now, when that's the case, I move my stop loss to entry. I'm going to do that just to prevent a loss. Stop loss to entry, which was 37.55. So I'm happy to go out at break even on that. Because at this stage, the weekly pivot looks as though it's going to do its job. Won't let me. Okay, I can just close it, can't I? Same thing. I'll just close that. At break even. If I can work out how to do it. There we go. Close. Done. So that one's out. Euro Kiwi, as I said, if it closes below the daily pivot, do that. And I think that's all I've got. Or Euro dollar. No, it's in the middle of nowhere. So the only one that's upcoming will be the 4-hour chart on dollar Sing. And at the moment, looking good. Entry above that bar, stop loss below that bar, and away you go. That's me, buddy.
Mate. I'm going to watch that as well. You know, the one you gave me a few weeks ago was a cracker, so I'm going to keep my eyes on this one.
All right, mate. Do that. I won't be trading if it closes up here, though.
Okay. It's got to close down there. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be down here somewhere.
Okay. All right.
Where it is now is fine. But
okay. Yeah. Anything between the pivots.
Yep.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Thanks, as Jeff said, for being in the room with us, guys. Thanks for the questions and participating. You're always welcome to come on mic. Anybody's always welcome to come on mic and be part of the show and ask questions live. If you want to do that, just pop into the Zoom room with us, and you can take part in the show that way. We've got the quiz on Thursday in a couple of days, so I hope you've been paying attention, Jeff.
Well, yes. Have you been paying attention? Absolutely.
I need to start. Yeah, we need to talk about that later.
And Shukri is not 64 years of age, no, Crystal, but I am. And that's what I was referring to.
Okay, so I will be back with you tomorrow in the morning, Jeff. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Angel, as always. And thank you to you, mate. I'll see you in the morning.
Cheers, buddy. Have a good one, everyone. Bye-bye.